Hello, it's 9 p.m. in RTD. It's time to English New Edition. For tonight headlines. We have Prime Minister preside over the inauguration ceremony of the OVD Base 2 garage. In Middle East, according to Mike Pompeo, Trump does not want to enter into conflict with Iran. Welcome to our newsroom. An inaugural ceremony of a high place housing the rolling stock park of offices of highways took place on Wednesday, June 19, 2019, under the high patronage of the Prime Minister Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed. This event brought together an audience of personalities, including members of government, senior administrator, civil and military authorities, as well as ambassador of France and Japan, as well as a large number of representatives of cooperation organization. The inaugurate site previously rehabilitated houses a large garage on a fleet of rolling stock located on the base 2 of the OVD. The largest solid waste management project is financed by the French Development Agency at the level of 6 billion euro or 6 million euro or 1,200 million Djibouti franc. And at his arrival, the Prime Minister was welcomed by the Minister of Interior, Mr. Momin Ahmed Sheikh, and the Director General of the Office of Road Djibouti, Sharmake Yusuf Musa, and has unopened the inaugural plate. The Prime Ministers and the member of government, in particular companies of the ambassador in the company of the ambassador of France, have turned around the different stands where the motorcycles park were for the pre-collections of waste included, in particular in the areas inaccessible to truck. The Prime Minister and his suite then inspected the paraplies of tools for the treatment of waste. With each steps, the explanation is of the General Directors of the Office of Road of Djibouti, Mr. Sharmake Yusuf Musa. For the implementations of this waste project, Mr. Sharmake explained that the former site was firstly totally renovated with the constructions of a new garage for OVD rolling equipment. This requires the acquisitions of new equipment, as the project manager Samatar and the ambassador of France to Djibouti, Christophe Guillou, explained. In an address delivered on this occasion, the Minister of Interior, Momin Ahmed Sheikh, insisted on emphasizing the major interest that environmental cleanliness has in a development context. The Minister especially insisted on the individual and collective responsibility of citizens to translate into the reality the so-called slogans Djibouti Clean City, except from the ministers. For his part, the Prime Minister Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed also urged all stakeholders to continue effort, stressed the major challenges of effective management and control of the problems of waste is major urban centers, all by encouraging development partners to support our country in this direction. As explained, the former site was totally renovated, which remains with the constructions of a new garage for OVD rolling equipment, said the Prime Minister Abdelkader Kamil Mohammed. Then the delegation is headed by the Interior Minister Momin Ahmed Sheikh visit one of the 10 waste collection sites built for these peoples. The Minister of Interior inaugurated these sites in conjunction with the Minister of Finance, Director of AFD in Djibouti, the Director General of the OVD, Mr. Sharmake Yusuf Musa. These sites of groups of waste are food by the motor carts which collected waste in areas inaccessible to the truck and the vessels on large skips installed for these purpose. Dozens of these sites were built throughout the Balbala municipality to reduce the while installations of Skypes through the municipalities and thus rationalize the means, but also to involve the populations in this project through association which participate in the implementation's pilot project. The Minister of Defense Hassan Umar Mohammed made this Wednesday, June 19, 2019, a working visit with the Chief General Staff of the Armed Forces, General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim. The visit follows his first visit to the military high command following his recent appointment as a Minister of Defense responsible for relations with Parliament on Mondays. On his arrival, Hassan Umar Mohammed was received at the presence by the General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim in the presence of General Tahir Ali Mohammed, Major General Hassan Ali Kamil, SAMG advisors, and head of the regiment headquarters, Colonel Wagdi Mohammed Musa. The Minister of Defense is in charge with the Parliament, relations with the Parliament, Hassan Umar Mohammed, attend the picket of honors. Then Hassan Umar, Ministers of Defense, held a closed meetings with General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim, General Tahir Ali Mohammed, and the advisors to the SAMG, General Hassan Ali Kamil. The focus of the discussions was primarily on the preparations of the 42nd anniversary celebrations of our country's independence, as well as other critical security issues in such circumstances. With the advent of the National Day of the country, all the defense and security forces of the country are mobilized night and day to prepare for the great military parade. It should be noted that this year, on an exceptional basis, official high-level military delegations. The Minister of Defense with the relations of Parliament, Hassan Umar Mohammed, continues his towers of making contact with the various institutions, and this time the Ministers of Defense, Hassan Umar, went this morning to the General Staff of the National Gendarmerie. Upon his arrival, the Minister was greeted by the Chief of Staff, Colonel Zakaria Hassan Adan. Then the Minister's reviewed the picket. After the review, he greeted the officers who came to greet him. Before beginning his visit, the Minister had a brief interview with Colonel Zakaria Hassan Adan, where he signed the Golden Gendarmerie's guest book. The commanders of the Specialized and Judicial Group, the directors of the Administrative and Financial Technical Services successively present on PowerPoint their respective unit at the meeting room of the General Staff. In their presentations, these senior officers spoke of the prospects and difficulties faced by the unit in the daily fulfillment of their sovereign missions. At the end of these presentations, for which the Minister of Defense gave him full attention, the visit began. The conference room of the State Secretariat for Decentralization today hosted a technical working meeting between this department and the Ministry of Budget, the opening of which was co-chaired by the holders of these two portfolios, respectively Mr. Hamidou Mohamed Aramis and His Excellency Abdul Karim Aden Sher. On this occasion, in a short speech, the Secretary of State for Decentralization, Hamidou Mohamed Aramis, first thanked his colleagues from the budget for having proposed the organization of this meeting. He recalled that the latter is familiar with the Department of Decentralization for having collaborated within the programs of the African Peer Review Mechanism, better known at MAEP. He added that the budget ministry team accompanying the minister is the one who has already worked with the Ministry of Decentralization in the context of local taxation and the elaborations of the Code of Local Authorities, among others. The minister then recalled the common achievements such as the opening of tax centers in the regions and the establishment of a task forces responsible for the collections of taxes, among others. Under the chairmanship of the Honorable Abdurrahman Awale Yassin, the Foreign Affairs Committee met on Monday, June 17, 2019, in the committee rooms of the National Assembly. The agenda of these meetings focused on the considerations of a bill, namely ratifying the intergovernmental agreement on the natural gas pipeline project. For the initial bill, the government was represented by His Excellency Younis Ali Gedi, Minister of Energy for Natural Resources. After greetings and readings the explanatory memorandums, the representative of the executive explained that the Republic of Djibouti and the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia signed on February 15, 2019 in Addis Ababa the agreement intergovernmental on the construction and operation of the Djibouti-Ethiopian transboundary gas pipeline. In his presentation, the minister pointed out the port infrastructures of our country in the final links in the gas pipeline systems. As a result, the impact resulting for the realizations of this project is numerous. Our countries profit from it and to make benefit to the Djiboutian population. The Minister of Equipment Transport participated in the second edition of the Ministerial Conference on Maritime Safety, which began its work this morning in Mauritius Island, where he is accompanied by the Director of Maritime Affairs, Mr. Ali Mirah Sheikh Daoud. This conference, following the one held last year in Mauritius itself, gave the opportunity to follow and discuss the progress made, but also to implement the road safety roadmaps in our sub-region. This event is organized by the Indian Ocean Commission in collaboration with the European Union as part of its maritime and transport. The international organizations took part in this conference. The second edition of the Ministerial Conference on Maritime Safety was also an opportunity to take stock of the various actions undertaken since April 2013. Tomorrow, the International Day of Refugee will be celebrated at Hol under the aegis of the ONARS and the patronage of the Minister of Interior as every 20th of June. This day will therefore be a commemoration of all the gains and contributions made towards the refugees who have settled in our country since the war of Ogaden entitled for a little more than 4 decades. The National Office of Assistance to Refugees, since its inception, it has sought to welcome and improve the precarious situations of refugees fleeing conflict and war in neighboring countries, particularly Ethiopia and Somalia. The ceremony of tomorrow will be colorful celebrations with the presentations of the various skits on folkloric dances and songs performed brilliantly by the refugees themselves. Note so that under the supervision of the head of the state, our country decided to integrate the refugee within the Djiboutian society by naturalizing it for what we should, while ensuring the education and the health assistance of their children. The Djiboutian Table Tennis Federation is yesterday, Monday, June 18, at the Goulet Stadium, organized a multi-purpose halls. The second edition is a cap and closing ceremony of the activities of the seasons, crowned by the exciting match full of suspense in these games, which reveal the technical levels and the performance of the Djiboutian sportsmen. The young table tennis player Jama Ahmed, Hood Abdurrahman and Abdushakur Ibrahim won the three steps of the podiums after the all-around fanfares match. The award ceremony of different championship categories and was held in the presence of several seniors of the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport officials, namely Ibrahim Hassan, Mahboub and many guests. The Djibouti Telecoms and Exim Banks for the support and with a view to the promotion of this sport. In the framework of the bilateral cooperation between Djibouti and Japan, at the end of the work of technical aid, volunteers, assistance and training for the animators community centers, the Honorable Endo Hiroki present the result of its 2018 training activities. The JICA, Japanese Agencies of International Cooperation, is a projection of the various activities such as initiations of the Japanese language, English, cultural, sport collaboration and sharing took place at the CDC Neighborhood 3. In addition to foreign language skills, the innovative and futuristic concepts are among the main themes. The event took place in the presence of the persons in charge. Finally, the Japan volunteers Endo Hiroki congratulate the leaders of the various CDC who accompanied him to accomplish this noble mission. For the international scene, U.S. Chief of Diplomacy Mike Pompeo met on Tuesday with the Pentagon Central Command officials in the city of Tampa, Florida, the opportunity to take stock of the announcement the day before the sending of 1,000 additional U.S. troops in the Middle East.
The U.S. Chief of Diplomacy, Mr. Mike Pompeo, met on Tuesday with the Pentagon Central Command official in the city of Tampa, Florida. It was an opportunity to discuss the sending of 1,000 additional troops in Middle East. According to the Secretary of State, this decision should serve to deter possible aggression, not to initiate a conflict. President Trump does not want war, and we will continue to communicate this message while doing what is necessary to protect the American interest in the region, said Mike Pompeo. Same statement from the Iranian side. On a speech on Tuesday, Hassan Rouhani said that Iran does not want to make war with it.
This is it for tonight news. Thanks for watching us.